I got some chicken parm.
What a way to start the show with chicken parm. What's going on, everyone? We are back to break down episode number 4 of Yasawa Islands season 1. We are joined tonight by the person eliminated from this episode, sadly, Mr. Ryan Grindle. Also with us is my co-host McKenna Feeney and the great Robbie Silliker, who is fantastic at breaking down these episodes. However, I want to start with Ryan. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm gonna just get the elephant that's in the room right here. I have not watched the episodes, so I haven't been caught up. But I lived it. I lived it. So I don't. What do I need to watch? But I'm doing great. I'm excited. I'm reading the questions. Can I start with a question?
Yep.
Can I do that? I'm reading a lot. The post I think Cam wrote said org veteran. I'm seeing somebody commented, you've played so many. Where did this come out that I played a million orgs? This is my 4th Survivor org. Is that a lot?
That was one of my questions I was going to bug you about. Was it sounds like you've played in about 4 or 5 million of these things.
Oh, this is my 4th. 3 minis, only one long game, and it wasn't even over Zoom. It was over Facebook. So I was like,
I don't know. Cam just thinks you're a veteran.
A mini veteran. Maybe I'm a mini veteran.
That could be true.
I suck at them, but I'm a veteran. Like that role player that plays every year, like his whole career, never is like a all-star or anything.
Well, it's all good. Robbie, what do you got for Ryan?
Well, I mean, I just want to know what your strategy was going in. Like, were you going in just to have fun and see what happens? Did you have a game plan to pick off people you've played with, or the veterans, as we could call them now?
What was your pitch to Karen this time? Like that was.
I think I knew Karen was playing, but there was no pre-gaming. They tried to keep it as blind cast as possible, but I kind of told Karen to play. I think like a week before maybe. So that was probably a mistake, I guess, on my part. But are we getting into Karen right away? Or are we?
Well, I mean, we see in this episode, we get to see that in the previous episode, in episode 3, people went to rocks, right? And Karen actually flipped her vote to vote Austin out and to keep you. So I mean, although she did vote for you, presumably on the first vote, so I guess it's a 50-50 return.
I didn't find that out till like later, that she actually flipped. She did tell me. She messaged me, before I got voted out, during that, break or whatever, when we're trying to strategize. And she told me she did that, but I didn't believe her at all. I was like, no, you didn't. It doesn't make sense. She's like, somebody else must have flipped. I'm like, sure. So I had no idea Phill flipped at that time.
So in that moment, you thought your original tribe, everyone stuck together and it was just a clean vote all the way.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, and that's a question that I have too, right? Because there's a point in the immunity challenge in this episode where it's the coconut chop, right, based on trivia. So if they got the trivia question right, then they could choose someone's coconut to chop. And once your 3 coconuts were chopped, you were out. You couldn't answer any more questions. There was a point where Phill, actually, there's two in a row where Phill got it right and had the opportunity to kill Karen, and didn't both times. He attacked David and Carlo. So when you're watching that, because at that point you were already booted, right, from that challenge. At that point, do you start wondering what the heck's going on with Phill? Like, why aren't you, finishing Karen off here? Or
yeah, at that point, I mean, I guess there's 2 things. You could think, all right, he's kind of working with the other side. He's got some things going on, which I guess he did, right? But if he did, like, I honestly I think he would have done that anyway. Because, like, if, why would he make it that obvious that he's flipping? I don't know. Like,
every other chop in that game was, and maybe that's a good point, right? Like, maybe, if he was kind of letting on to you that he was pretending to play the other side, then that would make sense, right? Let him chop a couple from whatever and go on. But everything else was clearly 2 tribes in that challenge. For the most part, people were just back and forth picking off the previous opponents.
Yeah, no, I mean, it factored in. Like, after I was voted out, I originally thought I didn't think it was so right away. I figured it out before the next vote, I think, or maybe in my head, but because I was just going back through everything. I'm like, because in a mini, it's like, it's really hard to get blindsided. Honestly, it's like you only have so much time. Like, Phill just stopped answering me that whole round. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know, 'cause you don't really have time to talk to one person, then lie to somebody else, then come back and reassure that, you know, it's like you make an option, you just go with it. So he wasn't answering me. I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, and you see Annie kind of touch on that a little bit in this episode, where it sounds like the original Toa tribe just has shunned her completely. Like nobody's reaching across the aisle, I guess you could say, and trying to sway her in any way. And you know, to that end, did you feel at that point like you actually had an alliance with your previous tribe, like your initial tribe members with David and Phill and Annie and Carlo? Did you feel like there was something strong there, or was it just kind of, you know, just put in place incidentally because of the fact that you guys started together?
Strong-ish, I guess. I felt I liked Annie. I liked Carlo. He seemed like he was gonna ride or die. Like he didn't seem like somebody was gonna go crazy. So I was cool with him. Phill, I mean, I hosted. I know he can do some shady things. Goddamn Phill. So you got to worry about him. But I also had the advantage of when we were just tribe versus tribe. I don't think he knew anybody else but me.
Mm-hmm.
I got a pretty good tribe swap to not get voted out early. Well, even though I did get voted out early, but earlier.
Yeah.
So I was worried about David, honestly, at first, because I paid attention to whatever the draft picks were that didn't matter at all, that these girls just wasted 20 minutes of my life.
Ian, it was Ian's idea.
Ian
it was beautiful.
I was so mad. I was like, well, that just wasted 20 minutes of my life.
I loved it.
Everything's a waste of time. It was the same thing with the water bottle challenge. You're like, I'm not going to win this. I'm just going to drop.
I know. We'll get to that later. I should have freaking went for the clue because I should have known you'd do an endurance challenge, and I'm never going to win that. So, but anyway, so I was at first I didn't like David, or I did not like him, but I was worried. I felt like he had connections on the other side. I actually still don't know to this day if he did. I found out, he was friends with Annie, but that was on my side, so I wasn't worried about that. But so I'm not sure, but yeah, Phill I wasn't that worried about at that vote. That's why I wasn't at first. I thought it was David when I first got voted out. I was like, God damn, Dave. But I was dead wrong about that. And then after I thought about it back, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So
yeah, and it seems like a lot of that is the duo of Annie and David. Now we don't see a lot of it in the episode. At this point, I'm assuming that they do a lot of their communication privately because they know each other outside of this game. But I think Annie, because she's not even being approached by the other side, is 100% loyal to you and your crew. And even if David was, let's say, leaning towards going the other way, he would have to try to convince Annie to go too, if you want, you know what I mean? So I think those two were pretty solid with you. I think Carlo obviously was. And then you see, based on the vote here, it appears that Phill, I don't think we actually see, let me see here. No, we don't actually see Phil's vote this episode, but that's the assumed person who flipped based on the, yeah.
We saw him have a confessional and be like, I think I'm gonna stick with my Ryan vote. Okay, I'm good. I'm safe, but I think I'm gonna go for Ryan.
Yeah. And at this point too, there's pretty much a TOA 4, and they kind of pulled Phill into it, but there's the TOA 4, and with Phill that makes 5. But I don't think Austin at this point realizes that he's the 5th and it's not Phil's the 5th. We see Corey talking a lot one-on-one with Austin saying, I think I can get Phill to come help us. But really, you listen to anybody else, Karen, Jeremy, Phill, they're all mentioning the 4 of them, and nobody mentions Austin except for Corey. And, I think that's an interesting dynamic that we're going to see moving forward here, because now we're down to 8. So you don't need 5, at that point. I mean, it's nice to have 5, obviously, because you don't want to go 4-4, but
yeah.
You asked me at the beginning about my strategy. I just never answered it, but you asked me like coming in, what was my pregame strategy?
Yeah.
And I will answer that now. Man, I don't have a strategy. I go in trying to be me. You know me. I don't need a strategy. I try to. It's I am a org mini veteran. I guess we agreed on that. So I know you don't know who you're gonna be with. You just gotta hope for the best. The problem is I know that even people that don't know me, like they watch the things, they see me a host, so it's so easy to peg me as a threat, even though I really don't I'm terrible at these challenges and all that stuff. So I don't know what
coming from someone who's played a game with you and has crossed you and you were still in the game after the cross, you are a threat.
But
But
I'm not saying I'm a goat, but
yeah.
the point is, even if you don't know me, I'm sure, like, the whole Corey thing, Corey just, boom, dude, this Ryan guy, we got to get him out, and I would do the same thing if I was him. So it's,
well, because he stated that if you get momentum, that you're going to be able to get your crew together and go far. But my real question is, right away, Corey targets you right at the merge. It was you, it was nobody else. I know you guys talked a little bit. Were you going to try and work with him, or he just, after he came after you, it was game over?
Was I going to try to work with him before that episode? Like when we argued at Tribal, you mean before that or after?
Yeah, before that.
Well, before that, yeah, I wanted to make two options. Because I really liked the idea of playing with people I didn't know, Andy, Carlo, and David. I thought they were cool. I was down to work with them. And I don't know Phill that well. I hosted him, but it's not like we talked or anything, like, one-on-one after that. Then Corey and Karen on the other two, I know a lot, right? So I was trying to make two options. I had my original tribe option, and then I could go with like a, package of me, Corey, Jeremy, Phill, Karen, like people that know each other kind of from, the long games, and try to make that little option. But I think I went to Corey with that like right away, and he's just so goddamn Corey.
Yeah. Did he at least pull your leg? Like, did he at least say, yeah, let's do it, and then not?
No. He
just stonewalled you. He's like, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I don't know that it was shown, but we talked, and it did not. No, that's where I think that stemmed our argument at Tribal Council, because it was apparent that we're not going to be friends.
Well, the argument was great, fantastic. Yeah. I think you might have. Corey's cigarette count, I don't know what it ended up being after that many, but you're definitely the one that instigated the cigarette smoking.
Yeah. I kind of should watch that episode. I don't even remember what we argued about, but I know that wasn't my strategy coming in. I mean, if you think you're going to be a threat, you don't want to be arguing at Tribal Council 2 days in. But I just can't help myself.
What kind of happened at that Tribal was like, Nick said like Annie was on the bottom, and then you were like, oh, who'd you hear that from? And then Corey chimes in unprompted, and then that's when you guys go at each other, and then Nick just is like
yeah. I mean, I didn't mind getting vocal and trying to, because I knew I was I knew I was getting the votes from their side, so I don't mind trying. And maybe my argument helped Karen change, but maybe Corey's helped Phill change. So it canceled out, I guess.
Well, and that was something we discussed with Nick, or in Nick's exit interview, I guess you should say, was who won that argument between you and Corey. And I said, well, I mean, when it comes to the argument itself, you won. I mean, you were pretty much, he was defensive the whole time. I said, but because he was talking so much, he was proving Corey right, because the fact Corey was trying to say you were a threat, right? And it was kind of like it was lose at that point. And
I agree.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes. Now, if you were coming back in, is that kind of the same strategy? Because I think you and I, after you explained it, play in a very similar way. When I don't go in with like a huge, I want to do this and this and this strategy. It's kind of like, let's just see who's on my tribe and what we have to work with, and then try to come up with something. And
I really don't think you can go in with. Yeah, you have no idea. It's a game of people for the most part. You don't know who you're gonna be with. How are you gonna, if your tribe's going in, then you can set up a plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard.
A game like this where there's no pre-gaming versus a game where there is. How do you feel about like a preference on that? Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes there's a cast released a week or 2 weeks early, and there's just mayhem for 2 weeks behind the scenes. And then there's times like this where you go in and you might hear like so-and-so may or may not be playing, and kind of vague, impressions, but not heavy, pre-gaming. Which do you prefer?
I guess I prefer no pre-gaming. I mean, it's more authentic. I think it gave me a better chance, even though I didn't come through with that, but because I was, I'm not going to sit there and pregame all day. I'd probably just talk to Karen and be like, hey, Karen, want to try again for the 4th time? That would have been my pregame.
Yeah. No. And I mean, coming from someone who had like 3 weeks before their season for pre-gaming to happen.
Sorry.
That just like amounted to not much. It's
true. We did waste your time.
Yeah, Ryan talked about us wasting 20 minutes of his time. We wasted 3 weeks of your lives with that one.
So like I would have loved to go into that like season completely like blind and everything. Then I could form my own relationships, and it wouldn't just be blank versus blank. It would be like everyone's an equal kind of.
Yeah. Well, and I've done both where I've started in with a long game. That was the first time I ever played. I didn't know what to expect. I was told, yeah, it might be a half hour to 2 hours a night, some easy going, whatever. Anyways, that cast was released, I want to say a week or 2 weeks earlier, maybe even more because we had to delay it. But, and those tribes stayed the same. There was no flip or twist or whatever at the beginning where everyone got broken up. There was no schoolyard pick. It was just, one tribe versus another. So the pre-gaming there was real and it had a very significant impact on the game. Whereas the only minia that I've played was the complete opposite, where I didn't even know I was really going to play until probably a day or two before. And then popped in, and the first time I saw the cast was when a group messenger message goes out and it's like, here's the Zoom link, and you see who's in the messenger with you or whatever, who's in the chat group. But and I really prefer the blind casting. I can't agree with you more, Ryan, because it's a lot less stress and you can kind of go in with whatever you get dealt. You can actually make moves. There's no obligations. There's no nothing. And so hopefully we can keep those going.
Yeah, I think it's just harder logistically to set up for the host side to do it blindly, but they did a good job here.
Well, especially when people start playing with each other, right? Like, and you mentioned just your face recognition, right? Just the fact that, we're on this exit interview right now, there's some sort of value, like target value to that. Like, oh, they're talking game. They must be good. Or they were in a Zoom chat like this together. They must want to work together. But it's hard. Everybody starts getting to know each other. So it's harder to not know some people that are playing, but I still think even that's better. Like obviously Annie and David know each other. And I think that was a short-term ask, like for Annie to join, but
she joined minutes.
Yeah,
literally we were scrambling. It was crazy. It was very hectic, but I'm happy we got her because she's somebody new that hasn't played before.
Yeah. Now Ryan, did you know that like when it started, it's like I think we kind of touched on this a second ago where you weren't really sure about that connection, but it wasn't like you guys were all in a Zoom and then Annie joined.
Well, actually it was because we like kind of let them in early because, well, not early, but like because we were running over on time. It was past 11 o'clock and we're just waiting for someone else. And then like she kind of popped up.
Okay, but you guys didn't have a discussion out in the open. Like, does anyone know anybody?
No, it wasn't.
No, we did that via Messenger. So I messaged
I didn't
around
know
the
she had it last minute until I think she might have said that when we were, getting to know each other on our time. I think she might have, but I don't remember.
Well, yeah, the water bottle challenge, she didn't have any of the materials, right? Like she didn't have the water
bottles.
She improvised.
Two barbecue sauce bottles that were heavier than the water bottles.
Yeah.
And she did well. Crazy. She did well with that. But I do have to ask Ryan, why in the world did you not go for the clue? Because I guarantee you probably would have ended up with the idol if you got the clue.
Yeah, no, I definitely would have.
Well, he would have had to share the clue with David.
That would have been fun.
Was a split.
No, that actually would have worked out perfectly. We would have had a good bond.
Mm-hmm.
Would have went after Phill. No, but I actually did almost instantly regret it. Like, actually, I had both cards in my hand. I was like, boom, boom, boom. But it just came down to the threat. I think a lot of people would have assumed I got it if I did it. I didn't want to have that on me. I think people already perceive me as a threat. Why be the only? What if I was the only person to go get it? Man, I'd be freaking
safe.
I'd be voted out fourth.
That's true. He would have been. You were someone I was surprised that decided to play, especially because if I'm hosting, endurance is coming up at some point.
Yeah, that's my arm's still hurt. I was only up there for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, good.
I mean, that's really all I had for questions. I think Ryan, was one of the folks that put a lot of what he was thinking into his confessionals.
Mm-hmm.
He said it at Tribal, he denied. So a lot of his gameplay was out in the open, and it seems like it was pretty straightforward. So I mean, You were one of the more entertaining folks so far because you're one of the more vocal folks. I'm curious to see now, like we saw with the previous, like in episode 3, obviously you and Corey had your little debate, you could call it. And then in this episode, it was much more civil. And I think David said something along the lines of, this is a simple vote. We're not going to rocks this time, which is true. And that people didn't know. It's kind of one of those ones where it is what it is. Like either they vote to keep me or they don't. Like I got nothing. There's nothing I can do at this point. Is that kind of how you felt going into that last tribal?
I didn't feel safe, but I felt like it was going to be 5-4. But I think I said in the confessional, I feel like I'm getting. Or no, I said when I voted, I think I'm getting voted out. Didn't I say that?
Yeah, along the lines.
Something sparked me at tribal, and I was like, I think I'm getting voted out.
Well, your one where Nick gets rocked out is like, ladies, I don't think I'm gonna make it through this tribal, and then you hold up your vote, and then you get saved. And then this one you're just like, let's see, let's do it again. Let's see what happens.
I don't know, but yeah, I definitely see why Phill did what he did. I don't agree with it. We'll see how it works out, but like. Obviously, I'm not going to agree with it. He voted me out. But I felt good if we would have got through that one. I really did. I think I could have good position. Because then those people on the other side, I don't even remember who we voted for. Who did we vote for?
You voted for Corey.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it was 5-4. Yeah, it was 5-4, and what was really interesting too. I know we got to wrap this up here pretty quick, but we got
to get to the questions from the Facebook group too.
True. So my last thing that I'll say from the content of the episode was, Jeremy apparently knew that Karen had flipped and that Phill had flipped, and that's how the number. Like he had all the information from whoever he was talking to, and Corey seemed to know that he had the information as well. Now he wasn't so direct in the in his confessionals or whatnot, but there were people during that social round that knew exactly where all the votes went at that point, and Ryan and David and Annie and Carlo didn't, which really shows that that group is working, strongly together. They're not leaking it out, and I think maybe they did a little bit, but doesn't show in the episode. So I'll see. I'm curious to see how strong that 5-6 together.
I mean, it's going to be a good finish. I mean, I think it's a season where there's not really, to use the word goat again. Like I think everybody kind of is playing, and it's going to be, it's exciting. Mm-hmm. Not for me. I suck. So
Well, you're very popular with people wanting to ask you some questions. So I'll start with the first one from Ian. Wants to know, Ryan, you have played in or hosted a lot of orgs and minis. How do you feel this cast compares to others you have played in or hosted?
By far the worst one. Hosts are terrible. The exit interview's terrible.
All right, have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah. So how does it feel to suck?
Yeah. It was it was the best mini I've played for sure. You guys put it together great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That was good. Everything was cool, fair, fun, exciting. The episodes apparently are great. Sure. The hosting, obviously, that's just, you can't really compare that. Plus I only hosted the long games, which is just different in everything from playing a mini.
You're right.
But I'm retired now. That's Lauren's job. She's doing great.
Thanks, Ryan. Definitely it was a lot of fun hosting with you. You always know that, though.
We had some good times.
And see, that's why we can snag you to play in games, so it works out both ways.
No, I'm done.
No, I'm done. Karen said, this isn't really a question, but I feel like Ryan wanted me to vote him out. LOL.
I didn't want her to vote me out. Was I proud? Yes, I was proud because I don't know, who knows here, but me and Karen have quite the history. I think this is our third game together, maybe fourth.
Fourth. Big Brother, another mini,
and another mini. Was it right? 2 mini?
No, my first one was with her. It was with that Corey. Gotta watch him. But no, so Karen, we've always been aligned, and I swear to God, this is going to sound bad, but I accidentally betray her every time. It's not on purpose. I don't go in wanting to betray Karen, but I accidentally do her wrong, and it never works out for me anyway, so I might as well just keep her in there. I was going to. I would have the chance. I was literally gonna be with her as long as I could, but no, she should have done what she. That was great. That was awesome.
Josh Blake wants to know, what does a perfect alliance member look like to you?
It looks like Josh Blake.
I think that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I know what he's looking for. He's not tricking me. A perfect alliance member is somebody that's a bigger target than me. Somebody that doesn't ever act shady, and anybody not named Corey. That's I'm just kidding.
Good choice. Good choice. You don't have to answer this one, but I have to ask it, or else I'll be crucified by not asking. From Alex Trias.
Yes.
Being a seasoned host, who was the better host in this mini, Lauren or McKenna?
All right, listen, it's Lauren hands down. I'm just gonna answer it for him. I bumbled my way through Tribal for the next mini. I actually rewatched a section of your Tribals, Ryan, from the long games and stuff, because I'm like, I forget constantly. So I have a little script for myself for Tribal.
Although, to be fair, Lauren gave Phill a point in the coconut chop for saying that neurons are the same as neutrons, and I almost fell off my chair when I saw that. So
the whole thing, we'll see. We had to keep it in because we gave people chops. But yeah, no, that was definitely a blunder on my end. It's let's be real. It's difficult to keep everything under control, but that's why we have the production group to help us out with everything.
It's come a long way since I hosted with Carter Malice back in the day. I mean, you guys got like a whole freaking A team of 10 people. I mean, you got, Carrie, Cameron, Annabelle, Ian. Who else you have?
Alex.
Yeah, John wasn't there, but he helped prior to. Yeah, we have 9 people on the day of for our next mini.
So for the season 2 one that we're doing on Saturday, we have 9 people with us,
including ourselves. But
chance for me, right?
we'll see. We'll see. It hasn't been released.
I'm sorry. No spoilers.
You don't know. We don't know. Cast hasn't been revealed, and it won't be revealed until after the game.
The cast doesn't even know.
Well, the people playing know.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know who they're playing with.
They don't know. They have no idea who they're playing with.
I know who I'm playing with.
That's the next way to do it, though, right? Get 20 people, and the day of, be like, all right, here's the 12 that are playing.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 8 that didn't make it. And
well, that's the thing too. They're gonna pop into the Zoom and they're gonna see a bunch of people. You're not gonna know who you're playing with because you don't know everyone that's on production for the season, because we have different people on this one than we did in the first one.
That threw me off hardcore because I didn't even know you guys had a team. We came in. I'm starting immediately. I'm just looking at the names. I'm like, who I got?
Carrie, Karen.
I see Carrie. I'm like, damn it, she hates me. I go McKenna. I'm like, oh crap. But I think I knew you were hosting. I'm like, man, we just played that Big Brother game together, and I'm like,
Carrie doesn't hate you, Ryan.
I'm kidding. I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. And then I found out they're all hosting. I'm like, all right. Like, is Karen hosting too?
All right. From Dylan, if there is a rival season, who would you pick for your rival?
I mean, I mentioned his name like 20 times tonight. Mr. Corey.
I think someone was it Joe himself commented Joe as well.
Well,
sounds like someone else wants to play.
Denny said it's got to be Corey, fucking Corey, or who knows, maybe Karen Kuhlman at this point.
I mean, all right. So I mean, imagine this is Real Survivor, right? You got your, if production actually picked a rival, they'd have to do it from some moment in a past season. So obviously, me and Corey had a rival there.
Yeah.
At Tribal, that's where you bring it back, I guess. Right?
No, I'll put you with Carter. It's all good.
I'd accept it.
I'd accept.
We'll put you with Carter there. All right. 2 more questions. Alex chimed in again because his first question, How left out did you feel not getting to do a confessional for the first round? Well, you haven't seen the episode, so
Well, no. This is this is kind of an inside joke. So during the first episode, I forget we lost, right? we did while we're like doing our strategy or whatever, he pulled everybody in for a confessional except me, and we went to tribal, and I gave him some shit after that. I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? You're not gonna ask me anything? And so then
that's an advantage, though. Right?
I know. I was just messing with him.
Yeah.
And his next confessional that he brought Ryan in for, it was on speaker view and somehow was only Alex. So it was Alex's face and Ryan giving this amazing confessional.
Oh,
and
no.
it's just
Did I really give an amazing confessional? What did I say? Robbie,
I don't know, but
Ryan was like, well, you did this.
Yeah.
You were just really good in confessionals and really entertaining. Like, I just always loved your confessionals because you're just like, I don't like these people, and like showed your notepad.
You had this notepad, sticky notes. Yes.
Yeah.
There's certain people that deliver in confessionals, and you're absolutely one of them. But that's what brings the entertainment factor.
You can be called back by production for being a good player, a good entertainer. So you gotta, if you can't do the good player, if you get voted out fourth, you better be entertaining.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
you're the first member of our jury, though.
That is true.
That means I get to stay on a Zoom for another 8 hours or 9 hours.
You're welcome.
I think Nick messaged me after, and he was like right, or I was talking to him like soon after I voted out, and he's like, at least you get to be on the jury. I'm like, yeah, I gotta stay on Zoom for another 10 hours. What are you talking about? Like, I could just whatever.
Speaking of Nick, do you wish that you would have worked with him? That was his question. Yeah. That is his question.
Is he kidding me?
It's Nick. You don't know.
Get that boy on here right now. I'll talk to him. I'll tell you, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen the episodes, but so Nick, first of all, just obviously, blatantly sent me this like generic hey as soon as the game started. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure he just picked me out of a lineup to say hey to. He probably sent the same damn hey to everybody.
Right? He copied and pasted.
Revealed. Yes, it was revealed that he did indeed copy paste.
So so obviously I'm just gonna hey, what's up, dude? And we talk, and he's a nice guy, whatever. And then the episode, I don't remember if it was when I got voted out. I think it was actually the one before, the rock one where he left, ironically. He messaged me, and I'm like, hey man, I'm just like, hey, how you feeling? And he goes, voting you, with a little smiley face. And I was like, all right, cool. Like literally. So I guess I knew I was going, and that's where all the argument started. Mm-hmm. And he just literally told me with a smiley face. So I don't know if that was a chance to work. Yeah, he didn't really give me a chance to work with him, but
that's amazing.
That's not the best strategy. What if you had an idol? I don't know.
Hold on. I can pull it up. I don't message him anymore. I'll find it. It's gonna be great.
Oh, and it's funny.
We allow screenshots in the recaps, so
yeah. I'll make sure nothing shows about. Hold on, let me make sure nothing shows about what happened.
You never know what you're gonna get.
All right, we got Nick right here. Can you read that?
Absolutely not. Oh, this is so stressful.
All right, we'll get the next one here. Well, you can see the bottom. See the you first with the smiley face?
You first.
Yeah, I see the you first.
So I said who we voting or who you voting. Oh yeah, who you voting? It's hard to show, but I said who you voting. He said you first.
Hey, at least he was honest.
Yeah, so he sends me that, and I just said crazy, dude.
But he said at one point, I don't know if it was during this exit interview here or if it was on the episode. I think it might have been on the episode where when he was casting his vote for you, I think he said like, I really wanted to work with this guy, but I guess it didn't work out. Ryan and holds it up, but I'm pretty sure he said that.
Yeah. Oh, actually you are right. I think he did. Maybe his intention was to work with Ryan when the game actually started, when you first see the people on the screen in their faces and get the first impressions.
Yeah, we got swapped obviously, and then whatever.
You barely got picked. You were almost the last one.
Well, why you gotta say it like that, man?
just rubbing it in.
Don't worry, Karen picked Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
She did, and that wasn't to vote me out. I don't think that she wanted. I think she believed I don't know why that I would work with her, which I would have. I swear to God. Even though I've said that, I really like. There's no way I was voting for Karen again, unless I could have won the game with it, obviously. But
caveat asterisk.
But no, I think we did. Yeah, I got one more. I with Karen, I do remember we had one conversation because remember I asked her to play. So I was like, hey, if you play, if you do, let's stop this like final 2, final 3 deal that we're making, right? I was like, let's just say, let's go to like final 5. I think we said final 5, right? Just go towards the end together, right? Let's just go towards the end. Then whatever. So, we made a broader agreement. But I don't think either of us really cared about it. She just voted me out.
Any other Facebook questions, or is that it, Lauren?
That's all I have for the Facebook questions. Robbie, McKenna, do you guys have any other questions for Ryan? Or Ryan, do you have any questions? Because I know you always sometimes have something.
Do I?
Yeah.
You like to say he has questions when he doesn't have questions, but
then he thinks of something. I don't know.
No. I mean, you hosted with me. I was never planned for anything. You love being planned. I was like, I don't know. We're just gonna wing it.
Yep. Yeah, it's fine. We'll come up with the challenge, an hour before the episode. Like,
I'm just gonna say, go grab 6 cups while they're all gathering. I'll be like, all right, what's the challenge gonna be? All right, they're gonna
tie your shoes together and then spin around 5 times. And
it was literally day of, and they were both like, "Hey, McKenna, can you like test this out real quick?" And I'm like, "I guess."
Hey, Robbie, we did have a shoe tying challenge, all right?
We did.
That was fun.
Yeah, and I should have won that, but
I was eliminated.
I won the shoe tying portion, but I lost the slide puzzle portion because apparently I'm an idiot. So happens.
That was not my challenge. As soon as I heard slide puzzle, then I was like, forget it. Not even gonna try.
No, I got nothing else for you, Ryan.
Cool, man. Well, this is you guys did great. This is awesome. I'm gonna try to watch them soon.
Eventually.
Try to catch up, yeah.
Well, you only need to watch 4 of them.
There you go.
How long are they?
It varies. Like the first
20
one's
minutes.
19 minutes.
Oh,
The merge
like
is a half hour, but
Yeah.
usually
It depends. It depends on how long the challenge is too. I think that factors into it as well.
Maybe I'll listen to them while I work out or something.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I don't work out.
I don't know why I said that because I knew
I
that
can't believe
already.
anybody was like, well, there you go. All right. No, I'm good, man. This is fun. This is good catching up with you guys.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna close it out. That's it from us, everyone. Next episode will be dropping tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Be sure to check it out. And then sometime over the course of the weekend, maybe not, we'll talk to that eliminated player because we are very busy on our end. But thanks, Ryan, for joining us. This has been a blast. Thanks again, Robbie. As always, McKenna, you already know. Appreciate you.
Who will be